Today on Listen Up, how a once poor prairie province has made a comeback. Secrets to Saskatchewan's success next. Welcome to Listen Up. I'm Lorna Duick. It's a province known for its harsh weather and endless stretches of wheat field. And with an economy that's been largely dependent on its natural resources, Saskatchewan has been referred to as the breadbasket of Canada. But even with the fierce determination of its people to survive the elements and isolation from the rest of the nation, Saskatchewan's reputation as the have-not province has marred its story. Until now. We traveled there to explore the scope of its recent success. Here's our report. This is the look of a province trying to figure out where it's going to put all its optimism. Leaders of villages, towns, and cities gathered to talk infrastructure. How will they keep roads, water, schools, and services up to date with a Saskatchewan ethos that says everything in this economy is growing?
There are 4,200 more people working in Saskatchewan than there was a year ago. Full-time jobs are up 7,800. Private sector jobs up 11,000 in the last year. And people are benefiting. Wages are up across the province.
Things are so good, this premier announces he's going to give a full tax point back to cities and towns to build up what they need to thrive.
We're going to have growth here for the next 20 to 40 years. And that's based on the mining industry. $42 billion is going to be invested by the mining industries over the next few years. The oil industry, uranium, gold, potash, they're all here. We have everything what the world wants, the 3 F's, food, fuel, and fertilizer.
And everything from real estate to business is hopping aboard the bandwagon to participate in Saskatchewan's success.
I can say that I've never seen people more excited to be doing business in this province and people really more engaged and enthused than they are right now.
When you go around the world and realize we have 1/3 of the world's supply of potash and the largest supply of uranium in the world and 45% of the country's arable land, and I can cite all the statistics to you, you know that this old phrase that we learned when we were kids about being the breadbasket now has a really, really powerful meaning.
Even education is seen as a commodity.
This university is about an $800 million enterprise, and it seems as though there's about $4.5 that circulate in the regional economy for every dollar that is spent here.
Its best-known revenue generator, the university's own company, Canadian Light Source.
This is the only synchrotron in Canada.
A $30 million a year research tool.
Synchrotron light has a whole bunch of different neat characteristics. It's really, really bright. In terms of the amount of light particles we can put onto a spot, we're about 1 million times more than you get from the sun.
A tool the university's industrial scientists use to work with customers.
Basically, when you shine different kinds of light onto matter, onto different kinds of samples and different kinds of specimens, you can get to find out what they're made out of. And so we can actually use synchrotron light to see chemistry. And so that's what we're in the business of doing.
The knowledge economy is growing. And the people? Well, according to many folks around here, they're priceless.
Prairie people are enterprising, they're resourceful, they work hard. But the other part of it is they don't just do that as individuals. They also work together. The concept of community is very important in Saskatchewan.
I think that people in this province have, for a variety of reasons because of the circumstances, understood what community is about, understood what caring for each other is about, and we're very, very careful never to make that feel or look like charity. But it was really about what your responsibility is, to look out for your fellow citizen.
There are incredibly smart people here, there are fantastic opportunities here, and there are an abundance of opportunities that people will continue to leverage, I think, going forward. So I think it's just going to take time.
Bill Johnson should know that's potash he's holding. The Saskatchewan Potash Corporation recently faced the threat of the largest corporate takeover in Canadian history. The The Premier earned a reputation as a hero in that battle, saying no to an Australian company that is already in the province just down the street from the Crown Corporation.
Potash is one of the crucial building blocks that every plant organism needs to grow strong and healthy.
Half the world's food production is the result of commercial fertilizer. Saskatchewan owns a third of the world's resources for creating that fertilizer.
We just felt that this particular takeover did not meet the net benefit test of our strategic position in the world, jobs for the future, or revenue to the governments, and came to our decision.
We'll hear more on why Saskatchewan's Brad Wall has picked that fight and what fuels him later in the program. But one thing's certain, this is the age of the new Saskatchewan.
The three things that I argue have killed the old Saskatchewan, and this was the Saskatchewan of diminished expectations and don't get your hopes up, is the internet, the 500-channel universe, and cheap airfares.
Politics also changed this province. The previous NDP party once banned their politicians from interviewing with this outspoken critic. He may give politicians a hard rap, but
our strongest resource has always been our people. Even when I argue our expectations weren't that high, we still exported hundreds of thousands of people across Canada. Whether to the lumber mills of BC, whether to the factories of Ontario, Saskatchewan people work hard.
Or in the words of the province's premier,
ladies and gentlemen, not because of the government, but more because of you and the people you represent, Saskatchewan's time has come.
When we return, Saskatchewan's success story is not all potash and politics. Uncovering the spiritual wealth behind the thriving city of Saskatoon next.
Well, Saskatchewan's growth really has, I think, left a bit of our First Nations people behind in some respects.